Hi, everybody. Welcome to the round three walkthrough of the practice rounds. Again, hopefully you're finding these somewhat beneficial. Again, don't want you to replicate the decisions I'm making because they're certainly not all perfect, but hopefully we'll give you sort of a good idea of where to go and sort of how you want to make your decisions. So let's look at our reports here real quick and see how our round two was. So I'm going to go to the front page of the Capstone Courier, and we're going to take a look. And not a bad second round actually. My asset turnover ratio is kind of low at 0.89, which tells me that for every dollar of assets I have, I'm generating 89 cents of revenue. So that's not sustainable over the long run, particularly when you look at what some of the competition has. Didn't have an emergency loan. That's pretty good. Pretty happy with my sales. I'm right in there with everybody. Decent profit, and I'm pretty happy with my cumulative profit overall. And what really makes me happy is my 38.4% contribution margin. I like that quite a bit. So stock price went up. That looks good. And let's skedaddle down here to my production and see how I did. Traditional was a good product for me this year. I stocked out. I didn't forecast enough. Low, I sold an awful lot of products in as well. Forecast a little bit too many there. And then I stocked out of Aft as well, which was my performance product. So generally pretty happy, with this round. There's obviously some changes that we can make and some different courses we can go on. And so what I want to do is I'm going to move out of this real quick. There we go. And get back to our decisions. So remember what we talked about in terms of product positioning. Now, it is virtually impossible to be all things to all people in each and every product segment and to constantly keep up with what folks want. And so at some point in time, you're going to have to decide what my strategy is going to be. Am I going to be somebody who's going to be focusing on these high-end products, our high-end, our performance, and our size? Am I going to focus on my low-end product and my traditional product? What exactly I'm going to do? Now, one thing I like to do sometimes is just, and I've mentioned this before, is just kind of take this trajectory. Because remember, our perceptual map, it's going to drift down and to the right each and every round by a predictable rate. And again, what is that predictable rate? Well, we go to our reports. And again, this is something you should be doing each and every time. And there's our predictable rate. So that tells us where these circles are going to drift. And remember, when you did your situation analysis, and hopefully you kept track of this, you ought to be able to, for each and every round, know where the preferred spot is for each circle. Not that that's exactly where you want to position your products at, but you ought to know exactly where that center spot is for each and every round. And you do that by looking at where you started round zero, and then each round, for traditional, you're going to increase performance by 7, size by 7. For performance, you're going to increase performance by 1, size by 0, and so forth. So that's where you want to kind of start in terms of your product positioning. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do something in terms of look at acre here. And remember our low end product, we know that by going to the buyer criteria, again in Courier, that folks want acre to be 7 years old. That is like the sweet spot. And remember, they are most concerned about age and price. And so I know by looking at this that at the beginning of this round, acre is 6.6 years old. At the end, it's going to be 7.6 years old. So what that tells me is that sometime during this round, we're going to hit that sweet spot of 7 years, 4 months in, actually. So assuming that I've got this product positioned properly, and again, remember, we probably shouldn't have made any changes to the R&D on acre throughout, then I'm going to sell a ton of acre. But next round, remember, unless I do some R&D, it's probably going to start getting to the point where it's drifting out of this circle. I don't want to do R&D. Why is that? Because the product is going to get newer. Remember, each and every time that we make a change into R&D, our product gets newer. And so what my strategy is going to be is I'm just going to let acre next round. I'm going to sell a ton this year, and we're going to produce a ton this year. But I'm going to let acre sort of just drift away, and then I'm going to let Able kind of fall back and take its place. Then I'm going to create a new product called Apple that's going to fall somewhere in here that will take my traditional product's place. Then I'm going to let Atom drift back, as if this was an 8-round, and in a 4-round practice it's not going to work, but I would let Atom then drift back and become my new traditional product, and I would create another product here to take my high-end spot. So that's kind of my strategy is what I'm going to do. So let's look at let's look at these decisions real quick. And let me show you how to create a new product. So I'm going to create Apple. Every product has to begin with an A because you're Team Andrew. So we're going to create Apple there. And I want it to be my new traditional product, remember? So what I'm going to do with Apple is, let's go look here. Let's see here. Let's go to our reports. Come on, where are we? There we go. And let's go to traditional. There we go. Okay, and so remember, oh, there we go. Okay. It's down here somewhere. There we go. So remember, at the end of round 2, our people wanted their traditional products to be at 6.4 and 13.6. So next round, remember, +7 -7 per our industry conditions report. So next round, kind of a perfect product would be, maybe not a perfect product, but one that's probably not too badly positioned would be one that looks like about 7.1 performance and 13.6 size. So let's go 7.1. 0.1, 13.6. Keep my reliability the same, and let's. Whoops, I'm screwing up. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's where I want Able to be. I'm going to put 7.1. Let's see. Okay. 13.6. Okay, let me go back to Apple here. Yeah, 13 points. Okay, let's hit recalculate and see what that does. So basically we got two products looking about the same there. So, we need to have some reliability for good old Apple there. Let's say 16,000. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so what does that tell me? Well, that tells me that I've got two products now. There is my Apple and Able, and you can see they're just all kind of schmooshed right on each other. I actually want Apple to be a little bit out ahead of Able, so I'm going to take Apple and I'm going to reduce the size, because remember, they don't care that much about size. I make that 13.1. Let's see what happens there. Okay, a little bit more differentiation there. So that tells me I've got a product that's going to come out in June of 18, going to be about 1.1 year of age. Remember, they want that product to be 2, so it's a little newer than they might want, but that's okay. Then I look at Apple down here, 7/1, 13/6, 16,000. It's going to come out in February of the year after. So new products never come out the same year that you design them. It's going to be 0, which is going to be quite a bit newer, but that's what happens with new products. And then pretty high R&D costs. So I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to see if I can shrink my size a little bit. And again, I'm just kind of pulling numbers out of the air. Okay. Let's hit recalculate and see what that looks like. Maybe. Yeah, my R&D cost is still pretty high. It's still going to be pretty new, but I'm going to do that because that's going to give me a product that's going to sell a ton, I think, the following year when Apple comes out. So going to leave those two alone at this point in time. And let's see, Acre, again, remember, don't want to do anything with it because it's right where the age I want it to be. So leave that alone. When you get into your practice or your competition rounds, again, remember, don't monkey with the performance, size, or reliability of your low-end product at all because you're going to screw up the age. So then let's go to Atom, our high-end product, and let's see. 9, 8, 10, 3. Let's see what people want. Okay, so next round in the high end, they're going to want a product, and remember this is important to them, 10.7 and 9.3. That's what they wanted at the end of this round. And what is our change on that? And again, sometimes it's easier just to print all this stuff out instead of just going back and forth. But let's see, industry conditions report, that tells us that we've got a drift of 9 and 9. So let's go back to high end here. Okay. So 9 and 9, you know, and again, we're just kind of guesstimating here. What are we looking at? 11.6 performance and 11.6 performance and 8.4 size. Okay. 11.6 and 8.4. And watch what's going to happen. This product's going to come out in about 2 years and really expensive. I can just tell. So let's see. Yeah, not that far, but I don't like that because that takes a product off the market for an entire year. So see, it's not going to come out in this next round. It's going to come out the round after that. It's going to be older than I want. It's going to be 1.5, and look at those R&D costs. So let's monkey with this a little bit. I'm going to take this down to 9.4 because again, ultimately, I'm going to want it to drift back and become my traditional product. And well, let's make that's too big. Let's 10.9 and 9.4. Let's see where that puts us. Okay, so that gets me out in November, so that'll give me a couple months to sell next year. R&D costs almost half less than it was, and age is a little better, and I still like the direction that's heading, so I'm pretty good with that. Okay, how about aft? Now, you know, I sold a ton of aft last year, I think. Let me go back to our reports. And aft is our performance. Yeah, I sold a lot. So let's see here. Aft. Where's our production? Yes, I actually stocked out of aft. So kind of like that product, but let's see where people want that this year. Okay. So this year they wanted aft at 11.4 and 14.6. I'm just gonna 11.4, 14.6. Okay. But what's our growth? So let's see. Go to our reports, our industry conditions reports. High performance is going to be 1 and 9.7. So 1 and plus 1 minus 7. And fiddle faddle. Plus 1, so 12, 4, 12, 4, and 13, 9. You see what I'm doing there? So I'm kind of what they wanted this year in the drift rate. So 12, 4, and 13, 9. Okay, so 12, 4, and 13, 9. Got a product coming out in November. It's going to be not too bad age-wise, pretty high R&D. So do I want to keep it at that? I don't know. I'm going to take that down to 12, 2. And boy, I think I'm going to bring that up to... Again, I'm just kind of playing. You can see 14. Let's hit recalculate and see what we end up with there. Okay, a little newer, a little cheaper, like that, a little better. Okay. And then with regard to Agape, I'm just going to leave it alone because I'm not doing particularly well in it. I'm eventually going to want to get out of these two anyway, so I'm not going to make any changes whatsoever to Agape. So again, in terms of this R&D stuff, if you're having trouble with that, again, what you need to do is you need to go back to your situation analysis, go back to your industry conditions report, and then just write down, where was the ideal spot of the product in round 0. And then you can chart out where the ideal spot's going to be in each of your rounds just by adding these figures to it. And then that gives you sort of a ballpark. And again, you kind of play around within that ballpark. So that's how you're going to do that. So let's move now to our marketing. Okay, so again, remember on marketing, the rule that you want to remember in terms of price is that each round it's going to go down 50 cents. So let's look at our traditional segment. So that tells us that this round we just completed, the customers were willing to pay between $19 and $29 per product. So in the round that you are uploading data for, you know that your price will be $18.50 to $28.50. So keep that in mind. Again, if it's more than that, they're simply not going to buy that particular product. So make sure that you keep that 50-cent decrease in mind each and every round. All right, so in our traditional, we're going to go, and how did we do for our traditional last year? Let's see. Well, we sold out, and we were pretty high at $29.50. So I'm gonna go 27 because I'm just not feeling that good about this round. Maybe 27.50. Let's try that. For my price. I'm going to leave my promo budget and my sales budget alone because those have done pretty good. And then forecasting. How many of these babies are we going to sell, do we think? So last round, again, let's go back to our report. Last round, we sold a bunch. Let's see, there we go. Last round we sold 1,465 units, so we sold everything that we could produce. So what is this year's demand? Well, remember how we do that. And again, I'm not going to go through this for each and every one of these segments, but if you remember these rules, you'll have no trouble doing that. So remember, the total industry demand last round was 8809. So let's get our calculator out here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so 8809. And our our growth rate next year is 9.2%. Equals, let's try that again. 8809 times 9.2%. So we're going to sell about 810 more units. So let's take, whoops, doggone it. There we go. So 810 plus 8809 equals 9619. So there's our industry demand. Now, how did we do last year? Well, we sold about 16% actual. Actually, our potential demand was a little higher than that, so we maybe could have sold a little more last round, maybe 20%. So I guess the question becomes, how much of this do I think I can sell? So let's take 20% of this. So is that 1,923 units, maybe? So let's put that in for a forecast. That doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily produce that many, but let's do 1,920 here. Okay. Hit 4K, recalculate. There we go. Okay, so there's that. So let's look at acre now. Now again, we're getting ready to hit the sweet spot on acre here, because we're going to hit that 2 years. I had that price pretty high, and again, I don't think I sold all my acre. So let's look at our reports. Again, let's see, where's our production analysis? There we go. So acre, I had quite a bit left, and you can see I sold 23. Everybody else pretty much undercut me on price. So I'm gonna, knowing that we're gonna sell a lot, I'm gonna decrease this down to, let's see, what do I want to sell it for? 18 bucks. I'm gonna go 18.50. So that's quite a drop, but I think I'm going to sell a lot. So I'm going to go down towards the lower end. Okay. There we go. How many do I think I'm going to sell? I think I'm going to sell a ton, because we are really going to be hitting the age this year. So I think we're going to sell 2,800. So I'm going to estimate 3,200, because I think that's double my capacity. I don't know that we're all going to sell that, but I'm going to estimate that. Let's hit recalculate. Okay, that's a lot of money potentially if we sell that. Okay, and Adam, again, I'm going to go through that same calculation of, remember my price is going to drop. They don't really care that much about price, so I'm just going to drop that to 38.50. And again, we're getting this information from the courier. Okay. Whoops, that's too much. There we go, 38.50. Okay. I'm going to leave promo budget alone. I'm just not going to mess with those. And I'm going to guess I'm going to sell, what did I sell? I'm going to say about 725. Why do I say that? Well, because it's my high end. Let's go to production. Okay, sold about 600. So I probably maybe over forecast, but with the demand increase, I sold about 711. But these are the areas where, look at where growth rate's going to go on our high-end products. So about 3,400 units sold last year, but look at that growth rate of 16.2%. So I'm pretty comfortable we can sell around 700 units, or maybe. So that's where I kind of put that. Aft, let's see. Again, I'm going to estimate about 600 units based on the demand. And again, I'm getting this by looking at the industry demand for each segment, multiplying that by the increase in demand, and then sort of guessing more or less where I think my market share is going to be. And then Agape, I'm just going to leave it alone, because again, I'm going to put one unit I'm going to anticipate, and this will tell the market I'm getting out of the size range. And then you can see for Apple, I can't forecast because that product doesn't exist yet. So let's hit recalculate. And maybe it'll do so. Okay, so big red number there, no big surprise, because we don't have anything. Oh, wait a minute, there's a problem there. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. Let's see. we're going to, not because we're not going to sell Agape. So I'm going to put 0 and 0. There we go. And let's see, that should get rid of that, or most of it. Yeah. So there. So I've gotten rid of one product essentially and have created another. So let's go to production. Okay. Go to our decisions, production. Okay. All right, so we can sell up to 2,000 in first shift. We could sell a total of 4,000 units if we wanted to go total in. But I think again, we forecast 1,920, so it's a bunch. So I'm gonna say I think we can sell about 1,750 units here. And again, I'm just guessing, okay, or I'm making an educated guess. Do I want to buy and sell capacity? No, that's okay. I'm going to keep increasing automation. Now, again, this is the 4-round practice, but if we were doing the 8-round, I would want to, at least get up to 8 on that for sure. I'm going to leave that there. Now, remember, I estimated the heck out of this. So I think we are going to be able to sell, oh gosh, I'm going to say, 1,600. I'm going to say we can sell 2,800 units. Okay, maybe even more. Do I want to see if we can sell more? I think we can even sell more than that. I think we can sell 30. I think we can sell 3,000 easily. Okay, and so we're going to use that again. I'm going to buy another. Well, I'm not this round, but if I wanted to, again, if we were looking at going 8 rounds with this, I might, well, no, let me take that back, as I think. Since Acre is basically going to be gone next year, I'm not going to buy any more capacity for that. That's going to start going over to Able, which will become my new low end. So I'm just going to leave that alone, and I'm going to leave automation alone on that as well. And then on Atom, let's see, I don't think we're going to sell that much, so I'm going to say we're going to produce about 700 units of that. And I'm not going to mess around with my capacity. I'm not going to mess around with my automation at this point. Agape, let's see, we estimated 550, got 26 on hand. That's sold. Well, no, Agape we're getting out of, aren't we? So I'm going to produce 1 of that. I think, let's see, I did not order enough aft. No, I did order. Okay, so I'm going to produce 1 of that because I'm getting out of Agape because we only forecast 1. And then I'm going to sell capacity. Now, when you sell capacity, you're getting about 50 cents for the dollar. But there's no point in keeping it because I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to put minus $5.99 and watch what happens. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so that's not a bad red number, and that tells me that I've got some more money coming in, and I've got one unit left. So that's what I want to do there. And then Apple, again, there's nothing to produce because the product's not coming out this year, so I'm not going to do anything with that. But I do want to buy capacity because for me to produce Apple next year, I need capacity. You can't just move capacity around here. You have to buy individual capacity. So I'm going to buy 1,000 units of capacity just to get started. And I'm going to buy 3 units of automation just to get started. Okay, let's hit recalculate and see what we got. Okay, so that tells me next round I'll have 1,000 units of first shift capacity with an automation ratio of 3, and we'll be able to start producing some Atom next time. So that looks pretty good. All right, so now let's go to. Let me find my decisions here. There we go. I'm not going to do anything with HR. You can play with that a little bit, but I'm just going to leave that alone. Remember, last round we spent $1,000 and 40 hours on training, so that's good enough for now. And then let's go see what finance looks like. There we go. Well, that doesn't look too bad. got quite a bit of money. Do we want to, let's see. I don't know what I want to do. Cash position's okay. We could retire some debt, but I don't think we're going to do that at this point. We could issue some more stock, but don't know that we're going to do that at this point. So I'm pretty okay with that. So let's see what happens now. So, okay. So I am going to go ahead then and upload these decisions. Okay. Update. Check our box and hit save, and there we go. So hopefully in this walkthrough, and we will see what everything looks like when we calculate this next round. I honestly don't know what it's going to come out looking like, but hopefully what you learned from this walkthrough, a couple things: how to create a new product, at least a traditional one, and you would go through that same analysis for whatever other segments you might want to create a product in. And as we get further into this, you'll see that you'll get to the point where there's sometimes you want to create a new product versus R&D a new one, because it just doesn't make financial sense to continue an R&D one. And then hopefully you remembered a couple of the rules for R&D, which again is keep that drift in mind. Again, find those ideal spots and kind of see where your customers want to be. And then remember, in terms of pricing, each and every round that price is going to go down 50 cents each round per unit. So good luck with your upcoming round. Don't get too frustrated if this is coming a little hard to you, because again, it's not the easiest thing in the world. And we'll visit with you again next time. So take care. Bye now.